Hello, my name is Janet Geatley, and this is Pete. Pete goes to school in the early childhood room and works with children at school. Pete has lots of jobs at school. He loves working with kids. But what's really interesting is how Pete got started at school, why I put Pete on that career path. Pete was born 4 years ago, and he was what they call developmentally delayed. He was about 2 weeks behind the rest of the litter. When the puppies came out, they were like big golden retriever puppies. You could hold them like this, and they were so chunky and fat. Pete, he was this small. He just fit in the palm of my hand. Usually when a puppy's born like that, they don't live. However, since I work in special education and I am really interested in children that aren't emotionally or physically developed and for their age, I was really interested to see what Pete was going to do. So I was watching Pete very carefully, and he seemed to cry a little bit more than the other puppies the first 48 hours. So then he just seemed like he was fading on me. Told my husband, I said, get him to the emergency clinic. And once Pete went to the emergency clinic, he coded in the waiting room. He just went limp. So then they put him on IVs. Well, when they came home, he had to be bottle fed or hand fed. We tried different bottles, and Pete's little mouth just would not fit in that one with that bottle. We ended up using triangular little cosmetic sponges, those little makeup sponges that you see mom put her makeup on with. We used the makeup sponges, and the sponge then would be dipped. So then someone else came up with the idea that you just kind of shoot formula in it. Well, then the sponge didn't fit in his mouth to where it had an airtight seal, so he was having to be burped a lot, and that was painful for poor little Pete. So then we cut the sponge down to where it just fit in his mouth perfect and made a seal. And we fed him by hand every hour and a half to 2 hours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now Pete is physically, he's developed to what is in the American Kennel Club standard for a dog. He's the right size for a dog, a male dog, a golden retriever. And he has developed his mouth and everything that we were worried about. That's all developed normally. He eats normally, he does everything normally. But he had a very strong will to live. Just like some of the students I see at school that struggle so hard. So as we were struggling with Pete, I thought about parents of these children and what they go through and what a struggle it is for them. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if Pete could one day help those kids like we helped Pete, and he would pay it forward to everyone else. One day he got to an invitation to go visit early childhood, and all the children were so much calmer and so much happier. And you know those kids that have trouble with their speech, that they don't like to talk to people because you can't understand what they're saying unless you really know that child? Well, Pete doesn't judge them. So they started talking. And guess what? The more they practice the talk, the better their speech gets. So there's so many things that Pete helps other people do. We think of Pete as being a miracle. There were just so many things about Pete that we can learn from. And you know, children and dogs are not the same, and you can't compare a child to a dog. However, we can learn lessons from their compassion. Dogs have compassion, they have kindness, and they love everybody. They don't look at how you look or how you talk or if you're dressed differently. The differences are embraceable to a dog.